Here we go again. Hi there. Well, first of all, I'm hoping this time there's no sound problems. You remember how last week I had to reboot the live because of sound problems with the mic. So I do hope everything is sounding okay tonight. And yeah, if you say you have a lot of questions, go ahead and ask them. I will not kick you out, at least as long as they're generally on the subject of tonight. Oh, good. Yes, the Big John sounds great to me. Okay, I'm very glad to hear that. Welcome once again, everybody, to a regular weekly tradition here that we call Cast Iron Wednesday. And not just me, but quite a few YouTube channels, the cooking channels on YouTube. On Wednesday, we have a thing that we call, well, what else? Cast Iron Wednesday, where we do cooking and talking and cleaning and otherwise videos having to do with cast iron. And I'm one of what appears to be one of the few who actually does a live video on Cast Iron Wednesday. Fool that I am, but well, seems to be popular enough that folks seem to be coming back on a regular basis, and I very, very much appreciate that. I mean, really, this is what makes these chats a lot of fun, is that we have people here, and thank you so much to everybody for showing up. A lot of regular names here, like Val's Black Cats Rule and Cynthia Wesley, Rick Stumbo and Clico and William Hurt, Mike DeMars. Hello, everybody. And the Big John, Janet Bautista. And yes, I'm always glad to see when you folks show up. So thank you so much. And welcome to January. Did I just say January? June 22nd, the day after the summer solstice, longest night of the year, etc., etc., etc. And tomorrow is the anniversary of my late mom's birthday, which is one reason why I'm doing what we're doing tonight. We are going to be doing some chicken tonight partly because chicken was one of those foods that my mom really loved. She said she could eat chicken 7 days a week. And there were a few times we did that. But I never got tired of chicken. And besides, this is one of those dishes we'll be doing tonight that I don't think anybody can get tired of because it's so easy to do as well as so delicious. And that's why I'm looking forward to it. Yes, as the title says, we're going to be doing some oven barbecue tonight. That's also because it's been kind of a rainy day here today. And so we can't do outdoor cooking. So as a result, we will do the next best thing. And that's really how we're going to be proceeding tonight, which is, and as I said, I like how it's so easy for this one to be done. And hello again. And yes, hello, Cynthia Wesley. I'll be out of my head this evening because I'm still not over my finds today. Well, yes, please tell us, how did your finds go? It sounds like you went out in the heat looking for cast iron, and apparently you found a good score. So yes, we'll be more than happy to hear about that. And hello again, as I said, to William Hurt and C-Dub. 3 totes full of cast iron, huh? Well, there you go. That would certainly be worth going out in this heat for, that's for sure. It's entirely possible that at least some of your finds are going to include some of the cast iron we'll probably be seeing tonight because, well, as I mentioned, we are going to be doing some chicken, and that means, of course, we've got to pull out a nice big cast iron pan, and it's one that we've seen on this live before. Tonight, we are going to be putting old Stumpy back into use again. So I'm certainly looking forward to that. Hello, Papa Dan. Hey, Jamie and everybody listening while driving to get med that have been on back order. Finally came in. Well, congratulations to that. And as always, we hope everything's doing okay, Papa Dan. And yes, congratulations as well on your big score, Cynthia. Meanwhile, as for us, this one is, as I mentioned already, so easy, especially since I did some of the necessary prep work in advance. And here we go. We got ourselves a nice big bowl of chicken parts. And that shows you how easy it is. All I really had to do was put these chicken parts in a big bowl and marinate them in barbecue sauce, which I started doing during my lunch break this afternoon. So these have been marinating for, I don't know, about 6 to 7 hours or so. Technically, they say you only need to do this marinating for about an hour, but I'm sure there's nothing really wrong with it. It certainly means we're going to have some color and some flavor in this chicken. and that's simple enough. Yeah, I managed to find drumsticks at 99 cents a pound, thighs at $1.50 a pound. So yeah, we know how prices have been going up, but still, this wasn't really too expensive. And as I said, all we really have to do is marinate this in our just that in the barbecue sauce. Meanwhile, we've got another bowl of barbecue sauce that we will be using to paint or otherwise baste this as it goes on. That just shows you how easy this is. And actually, this is one of those things, one of those dishes. I mean, oven barbecue chicken. Everybody does this. Everybody's mom and dad have been doing this pretty much since time began because it's so easy. I mean, I know it's like you can just put the chicken pieces on a baking tray or dish, pour barbecue sauce over them, and bake them in the oven. And yes, that certainly works. But here we're throwing cast iron into the mix, and that means we're gonna be making this into something special. And if you don't believe me, well, you better just hang around and see what's going to happen. You see, one difference here is that the nice thing about cast iron, of course, is that we don't just have to bake this in the oven. We get to sear it first. And that means we get to, as I mentioned already, I've got one of my veteran cast iron pans in the oven here, and it's about ready to bring him out so that we can start with our, well, just that, start with the barbecue. So everybody, I'm sure folks here have seen Stumpy before. He is my number 14 size Birmingham stove and range cast iron skillet, and he is going to be cooking us some barbecue chicken tonight. Here's the thing: all I did was I put the pan in the oven dry with no grease or anything like that, and preheated the pan to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Likewise, right now I've got the oven burners on medium heat, so that way when Stumpy comes out of the oven, there'll be a little bit more heat coming in. And let's get started and sear ourselves some chicken. Oh, here you are, Stumpy. And he is good and hot, of course. There we go. Now that I've done that, I'll pull this back on so that we can get a good view here. There we go. That's pretty good. And now for the good stuff. Oh yeah, that's hot, all right. You heard that? Actually, let me get this microphone a little closer so you can hear that. Yeah. I hope we can do that again. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's definitely hot. That's for sure. Stumpy's showing off, I think. There's one thing I like about doing this with a big cast iron pan is that we can do all this chicken at once. I hope it's big enough, in fact. Get one more of these onto here. May actually have to do this separately. Have more chicken here than I anticipated, which is not a bad thing. Still, we're off to a start at least. Looks like these extra pieces here I'm probably going to have to sear separately. Well, okay, we will work on that. And while we're doing this, let's see what some of our comments may be saying right now as well. Joshua, I just got my 10th skillet, Griswold number 10. Well, congratulations to that. It's a square skillet with a helper handle. Oh, nice. Cynthia Wesley, waiting to do this intro. Number 3, Wagner Ware. Number 5, Wagner Ware. Nice. Well, number 8, Lodge Chicken Fryer. So many more. Number 7 Griswold lid. Hey, there's something for you. Best I could say is if you don't have a number 7 Griswold, try it on your other pans and see if any of them fit. It's entirely possible. Grumpy old gringo, only a few things better than the sounds and smells of something sizzling in cast iron. Yes, indeed. And this is why I like doing this so much better than just simply using an oven dish or a baking sheet, because just that, we can actually sear these things and get off to a nice, decent start here. Turn these over. And for starters, we're not going to baste any more of the barbecue sauce on this, at least not yet. This is the initial step where we are going to actually bake these things in the oven for about 20 minutes. Then when they come out of the oven, we will start with the basting. There we go. I might be crowding the pan, I suppose, but it doesn't look like we're really getting any extra liquid in this. So that means this will go back into the oven, and we will continue after, as I said, about 20 minutes, which would mean when the timer hits about 31 to 32 minutes in to this live. So I'm going to do my best to try to keep track of the time here. All right, that means I'll probably need both hands for this, in fact, because we've got a lot of chicken here. In we go. Here we go, Stumpy. Ugh. And we're good. Actually, I'm going to do this. Oh, yeah. Hi, Cass. Just carefully. There we go. Because. There we go. As I mentioned, I actually still have a couple of pieces of chicken left over. Hello? Oh, 1 second. Excuse 1 second, folks. I think the cats are trapped in there and they want to get out. Cats? Is anybody in here? Oh, cats in there? Okay. Sorry for the interruption, folks. Again, I was just keeping an eye on the cats. However, since we still have a couple more pieces of chicken to go, let's heat ourselves up a Lodge Blacklock skillet. This is one of their modern day pieces, the Blacklock series that they came out with only about 3 years or so ago. So we've got a number 8 of this. We'll heat this up, and as soon as this is hot enough, I've got about 4 more pieces that will join Stumpy in the oven here. So we're definitely going to have plenty of chicken tonight. And where did I just put that mouse? Yes, indeed. Here we go. Oh, Cynthia Wesley. Oh, and a small Dutch oven made here in Louisiana. Nice. Made in Louisiana. I have to be honest. Could we be talking about maybe one of the Asian-made jambalaya type pots? Not that there's anything wrong with that. Kevin P. just started a first layer of seasoning on a 3-notch number 10 Lodge I found last Saturday. Oh, really glad to hear that too. Yes, number 10 Lodge. Obviously that's a 12-inch skillet, which you will get a lot of use out of. I can practically guarantee you that. So going back up here a little ways, seeing if we missed anything here. Okay, yeah. And Cynthia Wesley, it has your actual birthday on it, February 10th. I'm not sure which pan has the actual marking February 10th on it. Is this a modern day or a vintage, if I may ask? Oh, wait a second. I bet I know. I bet it's the patent date on that Griswold lid. Am I correct? I made a list of everything to share with y'all. Can't find my tablet. Well, that's okay. We can make it up as we go along. And I'm the type that hearted person give it up if my birthday wasn't on it. My wife has the Black Lock chicken fryer with lid. Oh, good, Mitchell Parker. Yeah, the Black Lock chicken fryer. Yeah, aren't those things really nice pans? I mean, yeah. I like the way they are so thin and light and really pretty much almost the same weight as a vintage cast iron pan. So that's quite something, especially for Lodge. Cynthia Wesley. Oh, okay. So it was indeed the patent number. Did you add oil to the skillet before the searing? As a matter of fact, no, I did not. On one hand, there is actually some liquid on there from the marinade, but no, I did not put oil in the pan. Not going. This is not exactly the same as making fried chicken. Also, the oil would probably cause a lot of splattering with all of the liquid from the marinade, so I did this dry. As a reminder, we've got about 15 minutes to go before that chicken comes out of the oven, and then we'll start painting it with the barbecue sauce. So I'm certainly looking forward to it. Yeah, Blacklock. Blacklock is, as I mentioned, is a new line that Lodge came out with only about 3 years or so ago, and I'm convinced this is Lodge's attempt and might be a successful one to compete with the elite, high-priced American-made cast iron that we're seeing these days. You know, such as Stargazer and Field and Finex, which Lodge owns now, and so many more. As those pans have come out, and they've definitely carved out a niche market for themselves. Lodge obviously wants to get in on the action because, after all, they're a business, and why not? But hey, on the other hand, it looks like this thing is smoking already, and that sure didn't take very long either. For the record, I only have this electric stove up to medium or halfway heat, and yet it's already we're already at a smoking point. So that means we get to sear a little bit more chicken. Now, like I said, no, I did not add oil to the skillet because there's plenty of liquid here, as you can see in this marinade. So far, so good. And all we really need to do is get a little bit of color on this, and then we'll flip it over. And then this will go into the oven for about another 20 minutes or so. And Cynthia Wesley, I'm still pretty green, but when I saw February 10th for $3, yeah, I don't blame you, not at all. I love those little coincidences that are just personal, really means something, especially to you, or in this case for me, when I find one. It's little things like that that I really can't explain in this hobby. It's almost magical, you might say. So, and it's things like that that are beyond price, whether and I mean, especially if you only got it for $3. So there's nothing to complain about there. Donald Webb bought the Lodge Sportsman Pro grill. We'll look for the BSR fish fryer. I want the Lodge Sportsman grill also from Texas. Best of luck to you. Although there are still quite a few of those out there, and they're probably not too difficult to find. The hard part is probably going to be finding one that isn't astronomically priced, unfortunately. The BSR fish fryer. The shallow fish fryer pans are actually not that uncommon, and it's not really too hard to find them. It will take some hunting, though, of course, because they've been out of production for like 30 years now. So, but still, okay. And it looks like I think we're already at the point where we can flip these things over. No sticking, by the way. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. Little bit of char there. Okay. Now that we've done that, this will join our friends in the our other chicken in the oven, which means this will not take long. There we go. That will be in the oven for about another 20 minutes. So, okay, let me see if I have this right. That one will be, since it's 20 minutes and 19, 29, 39, just about 40 minutes in, we'll have to take that one out of the oven. So we've got about 10 minutes left before the big pan comes out of the oven for its first coating of barbecue sauce. And then after that, we're just going to be flipping these things back and forth. This should be interesting, but really not too difficult. Hmm. The lighter weight of Blacklock suits me better than the expensive pans, says Pip Gorn. Well, yeah, I'm glad you like it. So, and this is all really a matter of taste. On one hand, in most instances, I actually do prefer the thicker, heavier cast iron, which is why I like Lodge and BSR. And even though I do have a fair number of Griswold and Wagner pieces, as you've seen, I tend to use the Lodge and the BSR a lot more. On the other hand, I do like that Blacklock, especially the shape of it. I find it makes a good chef skillet. So it's essentially the same as, well, just that. It's the type of thing you would make breakfast with. So, okay, hanging in there, Val's Black Cat's rule, staying too warm. Yes, Cynthia Wesley, if you're not going to use it, lose it. I'm too broke for wall hangers, but this I had to jump on. Birthday date. Yeah, there are excuses to break the rules. I mean, granted, it's a rule you set for yourself or I set for myself. I've said enough times I really don't want to be a hoarder, says the guy with his cast iron collection of over 100 pans. But I do my best in most instances to make my pans actual users, even if it means I have to keep rotating them again and again. And yet I have made some exceptions for them, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you prefer it. Like for instance, the Lodge collector's item skillets, the ones that they have been coming out with every year, such as the Cracker Barrel series, the American series, the Lodge Made in America series, those kind of things. I've fallen for temptation a few times, and I have a few of those skillets sitting here too, which I do still try to put to use whenever I can. But again, that's all a personal choice, of course. I realize it's not like I'm going to pay a fine for actually getting a cast iron pan just because it looks nice. I just have to try not to do that very often. Yeah, if that's at all possible. Where's Pawpaw, says Cynthia Wesley. He checked in already. He's out driving right now. He's getting himself some medication that had been delayed for a long time, but has actually come in. Yeah, he had a pharmacy run and he's listening. So, and yeah, I do my best to cook. Yeah, the cooking really has always been number one for me. As I mentioned, I caught the cooking bug, and then shortly after that, I caught the cast iron bug. So, I mean, as much as I really enjoy all of these other cast iron channels out there, a lot of which seem to have more to do with collecting and restoring cast iron, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're obviously much better at that, in fact, than I am. But for me, I try to go between the collecting and the cooking. So, when we're talking some of the channels that actually do both, like one of the members of this channel, what's his name? Louis J. Cast Iron Cooking, for instance. I mean, he is going the same route, and I very much appreciate that. Likewise, we've got a couple of the bigger channels that do cast iron, like, say, for instance, the Backwoods Gourmet. I follow that guy, and he does a good job. He does mostly outdoor cooking, and I do mostly indoor cooking. So it's like we do have a little bit of overlap, but to be honest, I don't think that much. I also like how he reviewed the new Lodge Sportsman grill recently, the Sportsman Pro, and he actually gave it a thumbs up. The live cooking sets this channel apart from the rest. Yes, that's where you can see all of my mistakes, and I'm the first to admit that. Yeah, because unlike, say, Josh Wiseman or Backwoods Gourmet or the like, I'm dumb enough to actually try doing this live. I don't even know. I can't even give an explanation for why I started doing these live videos. I'd wanted to do it for a long time, but it took a long time and many failed attempts before I was actually able to get a setup that would allow me to do a live video. I can't even answer what the appeal is of my doing these things live, except for one, and that, of course, is having you folks here. That's the real difference. You're here for the live chat as well as for the comments. So, Sam Cook, we finally got a break from the heat the last couple of days. Well, congratulations to you. I think the heat's actually coming back here. My understanding is we're going to be getting back into summer heat here in New England by the weekend. Joshua, I bought my mother a Stargazer and it had a birthday on it. Finally, a solution for the age issues. Yes, Stargazer, again, one of those newer companies, they actually do an exact day and date of when their pans are manufactured because they can. A present? Oh, you're talking about Trouble, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, good old Trouble decided to come back in again. Shit, here comes Trouble. Cynthia Wesley, I'm still trying to remember stuff. Don't really worry too much about it. I mean, I am the first to admit that I am something of a cast iron geek and proud of it. So when I do things like trying to recognize cast iron pans just based on a photo or a glance or recognize or taking a look at the handle, that, quite frankly, is being a geek. Oh, that kind of present. I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah. Trouble caught a mouse. Another, yeah, another one that is. Yeah, the barbecue's got to be a little while yet, but there. Oh, I see. Trouble wants me to barbecue the mouse, doesn't he? Yeah, actually, here he is right here at my feet, and he's got that mouse. And no, I'm not going to turn the camera on him. I mean, as much as folks love seeing Trouble, I I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube by showing him playing with a dead mouse. I'm sorry. So, and yeah, as far as those mice are concerned too, whenever we try taking them away from him, he growls at us and backs away. After a few minutes, when he's done playing with his toy, then we can give him a treat, and then he'll actually drop the mouse and we can throw it out. So it goes. I will be the first again. I will gladly admit that I am quite a believer in nature taking its course, survival of the fittest. So that's why I'm not heartbroken for the mouse. That's just how nature goes, and that's how cats go. Southern New Mexico, we went from the hundreds to the 70s and the 80s. Well, that's not so bad. Mousetrap Monday, huh? If there is such a thing, I may actually consider that. Well, thank you. But no, as I mentioned, though, as I said, I'm a cast iron geek, and really, you can be too if you want, but you don't have to be. If you just want to post pictures to any number of places, my Facebook page, the cast iron cooking page, or group on Facebook, or Reddit's cast iron uh, groups, or a whole bunch of other Facebook groups and YouTube channels here asking, can you identify this pan for me? Usually you will get an answer very quickly. So you don't have to worry. If you don't recognize it right away, just provide photos and somebody will help you identify it. I'll do my best as well. That's about the best I can say. About 3 more minutes, and then we get to bring our first pan out of the oven. So we are not doing too badly. Yes, mistakes usually still taste good. Yes, that's one of the things I've said enough times on my channel. This is kind of like a mantra I made for myself. In fact, if I want to be quoted on this, I'd be honored if anybody wants to quote me on these words. In cooking, there are a few disasters and many learning experiences. Fortunately, we can still eat the learning experiences. And yeah, you've seen me do quite a few learning experiences here on this channel as well. And that only demonstrates that I'm not a professional, which is another reason why I'm so glad to see people showing up here. Um, and I think I kind of prefer that. I mean, as I said, I like going for these YouTube channels that are just small and starting out. And likewise, I've even seen yeah, as you may notice, I've gotten into TikTok as well. Yet I prefer the amateur videos rather than the professionally made ones, and especially the ones that are I do not like the ones that are commercials disguised as TikTok videos. But I really, yeah, I mean, I really love it seeing new people trying new things with me with their first cast iron pan, or trying to season their pans or otherwise clean them up, or I've got my grandma's cast iron pan and I'm putting it to use. I love seeing things like that. Cynthia Wesley. Why my friends think it's my job to do? Oh, I see. To do the Boston baked beans. Well, I'm also very glad to hear that too. 4th of July beans. Well, that actually again makes me feel very proud, and thank you very, very much for that. Yeah, I guess that's really um, maybe as much, if not more, than the fact that YouTube actually does pay me for these things. The fact that if people actually try my recipes and like them, that really makes me feel good. And it means I've made an effort, and it seems to have paid off. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, I'm quite proud of those Boston baked beans too, and I'm really glad you like them and your friends like them. And hello, Cast Iron Junction. I'm cooking for my Rottweiler, and I burned the dog's breakfast this morning. Well, I'm hoping that he didn't mind it a little well done or charred. And having said that, I tried the spider cake. Oh yeah, I know. I know. I was amazed myself yeah, I was amazed myself when I tried that spider cake recipe for the first time, and that's why I had to do it and put it on as a recipe. Yeah, I mean, there's the argument, of course, between whether or not you have sugar in cornbread. Well, the spider. All right. Well, the spider cake is definitely one example of, yes, it is okay in some instances to have sugar in cornbread. I mean, they actually call it a cake because it's got so much sugar in it, but it is really tasty, isn't it? Okay, and having said that, it's time to start playing with Stumpy again. Get to bring out the. Oops, sorry about that, folks. Get to bring Stumpy back out here, and we will move on to the next step of our barbecue chicken. And move this out of the way. Sorry, Tess. Okay, here we go again. Oh, two hands. Yeah. Yeah. Heavy pan with a lot of chicken. Gotta use both hands. Okay. Wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. There we go. Ugh. All right. So far, so good. Now, there's a lot of liquid in this pan now. What I'm going to do is, well, number one, I'm going to flip the chicken again. Going to coat the first side with barbecue sauce, and then we will put it in the oven again for about maybe another 15 minutes or so. Then after that, I'm going to drain the extra liquid out of the pan before coating the other side, so that way there won't be too much liquid in. Still, I think we're off to a decent start here. Little by little, I'm almost okay. I think with this we will have flipped all of the chicken. So now that means time to get our basting brush and doing our barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce. Oh yeah, all the arguments over that. Everybody's got their own secret barbecue sauce recipe. Good. You can use whatever barbecue sauce you want on your oven barbecue chicken. If you've got a secret recipe, go ahead and use it, and I'm sure it'll be great. If you use store-bought brands, you go ahead and use it, and I'm sure it will be great. This is one of those recipes that are practically can't fail. Yeah, I mean, I know, for instance, even at the dollar store, they sell Sweet Baby Ray's. And what's wrong with Sweet Baby Ray's? Yeah, that stuff still tastes pretty good. Yeah. There we go. And a little bit here and a little bit there. And then once we do this, it'll be back into the oven again, as I said, for about another 15 minutes. Then after this, again, we will remove the liquid from the pan before coating the other side. And we'll actually be almost done at this point. Still, this looks pretty good already, doesn't it, folks? Okay, that means this goes back in, and I've got to consider the countdown until the other pan, the black clock. As I said, this is going to be 15 minutes, and we'll be more than halfway done after that. Okay, here we go. Careful. Oh, boy. I know why you folks like to watch me going live. It's because of all the grunting sounds I make. Okay, now I have said that the other one is going to come out of the oven in at about the 40-minute mark. So we only have about 5 minutes left for that. So we are off to a pretty decent start here. And I like that. Okay. Love Sweet Baby Ray, says Joe Brown. Yeah, I mean, even though that stuff's cheap, I mean, really, it's really not difficult at all to make a decent barbecue sauce. And Christine Borgatti, my mom used to use ketchup mixed with liquid smoke as her sauce. Why not? I mean, yeah, I mean, you could mix ketchup and Frank's hot sauce, for instance. I mean, pretty much it's what you want. Okay. And I'm cooking for my Rottweiler. No, I heard that part already. And Val's Black Cat's Rules tried the spider cake. Yeah, as I said, isn't that really good? Midnight Lacey. No, you are not late. I mean, we're about half an hour in, yes, but as you can see, we are far from done here. So it's not too sweet, but past the butter. Yeah, that's what I like. I find I like this as a cake that is not really overwhelming with sugar, but it's got a nice sweet taste to it. And C. Kiefer 45. I made your Dutch oven chicken and rice on Monday. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. Again, that was one of the first cast iron Dutch recipes that I put together myself, which is really a no-brainer. I mean, how hard is it to just prepare rice, liquid, and put the chicken in and let it all cook at the same time? So it's nice and simple, and I like my recipes to be simple. And a lot of people like the simple recipes. So I'm really glad you like the Dutch oven chicken and rice, which, as you noted, you can use whatever flavorings you want in that, of course. You know, you can use your own rub for the chicken. You can use your own spices, or you can flavor the rice any way you want. I mean, last week when I did it, as I mentioned, I put in a lot of adobo and Sazon. If you want to use Indian spices, you know, India as in the country, you can certainly do that. It's all up to you because you're the one who's going to be eating it. And I'm going to, yeah, Cynthia Wesley, I'm going to try the chicken and rice Friday. Well, I do hope you like it. So, okay, let's show that. Cast Iron Junction. I had to uncensor that. That's not your fault. It's only because, you know, trying to keep, trying to be sure that nobody's trying to cause trouble. And no, I don't mind because, hey, we are grown-ups here. And my mom's sauce was only for chicken, says Christine Borgatti. The grunting is Rick D's ringtone. Yeah, you will probably be hearing a lot more of that as time goes by. I've little doubt about that. But nonetheless, though, as I said, you know, again, this is one reason why I'm so enamored with using cast iron, because this oven barbecue chicken is such an easy recipe, but I feel it's going to get some extra kick because we are doing this, especially with cast iron. And this gives us the chance to really sear the chicken and caramelize the sauce instead of just simply baking it. And that's one reason why I'm looking forward to this. And here's another one I have to uncensor from uh, Cast Iron Junction. No, nothing wrong with that, dude. I mean, after all, just because you say something like, I'm doing jerk rub over boneless chicken breast strips. I mean, oh my God, how dare you say words like jerk and breast? But yeah, that's how it goes here on YouTube these days. As I said, don't worry, that is hardly unacceptable language here. We do try to keep this relatively family friendly. Yes, I don't deny that. But on the other hand, we're not prudes here. For instance, we know all too well about recipes like SOS, for instance. So, and we've made that here a couple of times. When are you publishing your cookbook? I have not had the time to really put together a cookbook, and besides, I've got my website. Really, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, I know a cookbook is definitely a source of revenue, which is one reason why everybody wants to publish a cookbook. But the best I can say is that if you look on my website, motomac.com, you will see just about all of the recipes I've done, and feel free to use them and modify them to your taste. I have no hesitation for that. Having said that, it's time for dish number 2. Time to bring the black lock back out. Here he is. Okay. Yeah, like I said already, I know there is a lot of liquid in the pan. That's why we are going to drain the liquid after this. As I mentioned, what I'm doing right now is I'm flipping the chicken. And I'm going to coat this side here with the sauce. Move this over a little bit. And no need to be shy. Got plenty of barbecue sauce here. And then this will go back in for about another 15 minutes. And as I said, the next time it comes out of the oven, I will drain the extra liquid from the pan so that the last part will not have too much liquid. And back in we go. And that's for another 15 minutes. So it was at the 35-minute mark. I put Stumpy in. So that means at about the 50-minute mark, Stumpy will be coming back out again. Meanwhile, for this one, it will be at about 55-56 minutes that the black lock will come back out. And we're going to be almost done at that point because, as I mentioned, what I'm going to do, as I said already, is drain the extra liquid from those pans. And then put the chicken in, coat the other side, and it only needs to be about another 10 minutes, and then it'll be done. So all things considered, somewhere around the 1 hour mark or so, the barbecue chicken will be ready. Yeah, I know these things usually seem to last longer than an hour these days. So I'm not saying that the video will end. I'm just saying that the barbecue chicken will be ready. So I'm looking forward to that. Actually, I should prepare by getting an extra plate or bowl for that extra liquid. So, oh yeah, and for that chicken too, for that matter. So, excuse me 1 second. All right. This bowl will be for draining the extra liquid. And I'll need to do, well, yeah, here was the original one with the marinade. I think I will very quickly rinse this out, and then this will be to put the chicken in after in about another 5 minutes or so. Let me do this as quickly as I can here. And yeah, the marinade, of course, still has the raw chicken stuff, so not that that's a problem because the marinade also has a lot of vinegar in it too. So I've no doubt that most, if not all, of the extra chicken cooties have probably been killed off. So that's why I'm not especially worried about that. Also, that is very, very hot chicken that's going to be coming out of the oven. So I am not worried about cross-contamination. Especially since, as you can see, I'm washing this bowl out here. So once again, the chicken is going to go in here temporarily while I drain the extra liquid out of the pans. There we go. All right, and where are we at this point? Okay, one for Jamie, one for me, one for you, and and someone can share the fourth. Oh, the cats can share the fourth. Yeah, fortunately, we're going to have plenty of chicken here, so we don't have to share at this point. Reduce that liquid and use it for dipping. Oh, well, fortunately, yeah, I probably actually should have done that now that you're saying that. I didn't even think of that. But fortunately, we do still have all the rest of this sauce here. So there's going to be plenty here for dipping. No question about that. No way is that all going to be done. Okay. Cast iron junction. I picked up a free 20-inch cast iron skillet someone was giving away on Nextdoor. Well, congratulations to that. Whether or not it's modern or vintage, really, a free cast iron pan like that is definitely a real score. So I wouldn't hesitate either. Papa Dan in line to get meds now. What do you usually make on either a round griddle or a rectangle griddle for their first use? On a griddle, you can always make breakfast on it. You know, pancakes, bacon, maybe even scrambled eggs and omelets. All of those are good for use on a griddle, probably especially the pancakes in that instance. You can also use it as a baking sheet. Unless you've got something that has a lot of liquid as it cooks, like chicken, for instance. But if you have something relatively dry, that would also make a nice use of a baking sheet. Oh, and one other thing that some people may not consider: pizza. Use it as a pizza pan. Even though it ends up being like an oblong pizza, there's no reason at all why you could not make a pizza on that cast iron griddle. Plenty of chicken pot pie. Get worried about your Rick D. I use it all the time as a baking sheet. And yes, like you said, Jacob Allman, also good for pizza. Hello, Flash 1999. Glad to see folks here. And I'm doing my best to try to keep this from dead spots and dead air as we wait about another 4 to 5 minutes before Stumpy comes out of the oven again. And grilled cheese sandwiches on a griddle. Yeah, as you can see, there's plenty of uses for a griddle. There's no denying there. Pawpaw Dan listening as best as I can. Hot and dry in northern Louisiana. Well, at least it's dry. And how did you come about, Midnight Lazy, how did you come about to love cast iron pots and pans? Also, what was the very first piece that started it all? Well, I've told that story before, and in fact, I've even done more than one video dedicated to it. The fact that shortly after I caught the cooking bug and was really starting to seriously learn how to cook, I discovered a large 10-inch cast iron skillet that had been sitting in my cupboard for 8 years unused, and it was rusty and it was orange. And if you'll give me a moment, I will pull it out right now. All right, let's do this now. Here it is. Clang, clang, clang. This was the cast iron pan that I discovered after 8 years of neglect. It was sitting in the back of a cupboard, and when I was cleaning out the cupboard, in fact, in that kitchen, my girlfriend at that time, she's the one who discovered it and told me to save that because it's cast iron. And I said, "What, this?" And she said, "Yes." And it was largely because of that I celebrated shortly after that moving into a new apartment. This was in December of 2010. I cooked a steak in this very cast iron pan for the first time, and I did a terrible job of it. I turned that steak into a piece of leather. I poked it, I prodded it, I moved it around. I did everything you are not supposed to do when cooking a steak in cast iron. However, the thing is that I had a lot of fun. It was really enjoyable. It was some great stress relief, and I had a lot of fun cooking that steak. And that was the night I ended up catching the cast iron bug. Because, as I mentioned before, I'm a geek. After that, I started doing a little bit of research and learning a little bit more about cast iron pans. Learned that there's a lot of history involved with it. And, well, that's when I was hooked. And that is a very brief summary of my story. which as I said, I have actually done a couple of videos especially dedicated to that. So, um, yes, okay. Jacob Allman, worst thing I found with two of my griddles, my size 12 and 16 favorite piquas or piquas, I still can't pronounce it, are just too dang big for the range stovetop. Yeah, that can be a problem. There's no denying that. That's one reason why, as well, I like using the long, like say the BSR fish fryer, for instance, the kind of cast iron pan that will fit over two burners here on the stovetop, so that there will be plenty of room, or so that there will be two heat sources. And we are at the 15-minute mark, so I do believe, yeah, if it's been 15 minutes, so yeah, I do believe it's time for Stumpy to come out for round 2, or is it round 3? Got to back up once again, because we're doing this on a very low budget. And out of the oven he comes again. Well, by the way, these burners are still hot. Okay. Oh, wow. Careful. Oh, boy. Oh, mother. Oh, son of a... Okay. Got it. There we go. Well, that doesn't look too bad either, does it, folks? All right, now here's the part where, as I said, because we've got all of this extra liquid in the pan, I am going to temporarily remove this chicken from the pan and get rid of the extra liquid. Maybe that's the part where you said reduce it, and that may not be a bad idea at all. So, try to do this as quickly as I can. Ooh, this is hot already. Yeah, that's the other thing. This chicken is definitely going to be done. There is no worry about this chicken being undercooked. I can guarantee you that. I guarantee. I could probably eat it right now, in fact, but I'm going the extra step here. Now, all right, do my best to carefully, let's move this over a little bit, in fact, so you folks can see this. Drain out this extra liquid. Carefully, that is, he said. Damn it. Okay. Change of plans. Time for the second glove again. There we go. That works. All right. Let's get the rest of this out. Or oot, if you're Canadian. There we go. Yeah, that might not be a bad plan, reducing this. I don't think I'll disagree with that. Maybe we might even do that after the 1 hour mark. Okay, but now that we've done that, as I said, this the stovetop burners are still hot. So now let's get that chicken back into the pan. Does look like the chicken shrunk a little bit too, so the pan is not going to be as crowded. Let me move this over for you folks. The pan's not going to be quite as crowded as it was in the first place, which means we're off to a decent start here. All right, a little bit more on this. And that, and this, and the other thing. There we go. Now we coat it once again with our BBQ sauce. And then after this, it's just going to go in the oven for another 10 minutes. And then we will be done. So far, so good here. Might even turn up the heat a little bit in the oven, I think, especially since I've mentioned before, my oven in particular is a POS, unfortunately. Still, there we go. Definitely a step up from using a baking sheet. I'll turn the oven temperature up a little bit and back into the oven for what is hopefully the last time. In we go, Stumpy. Need both of these gloves again. Careful. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, boy. There we go. In we go. All right. Finally, the black lock. Let me see. I'm trying to... I should have written down these times, I think. The black lock, if I remember right, yeah, that's right. I think we're at almost the time, in fact, for the black lock to do the same thing. I believe the black lock was at just about now, I'd have to say. So let's get the, yeah, that's right, especially since I had to take a few minutes to drain that anyway. I say Century is heavier. Okay, I'll talk a little bit about Stumpy in just a minute or so once we do the same treatment on the black lock. Ooh. Listen to that. There we go. Hear that? Oh, yeah. Now we just do the same thing. 1, 2, come on, 3, 4, and drain this. This one might be doing better than a little Stumpy here, in fact, as far as caramelizing. Here we go. Back on the heat again, and chicken comes back on one more time. And once again, be generous with the barbecue sauce. And back in the oven one more time. There you go. Okay. Oh, wow. We are definitely getting there at this point. We are just about done. All right. Now, once again, thank you so much. driving again. What do you and the others use for a power source on the e-tank? I buy every old manual battery charger that I can, but they generally don't last. Yeah, power. Yeah, manual electrical supplies are pretty tough to find. I will admit that as well. I've tried just using a simple AC power transformer, and those things never work very good because, as I found out, what's really important is not just the voltage but also the amperage, and most of those transformers, they only provide maybe 1 amp at most. I was lucky enough, just because of the job I work, to actually acquire a about a 15 amp trip light power supply. So I'm actually quite happy with that. Cynthia Wesley, I'm getting sad. I have to check out my friends. Just got a call from a friend. Oh dear. Sorry to hear that, Cynthia. Our condolences and the best of luck, and I do hope everything is okay. But yes, I do. Go ahead, and as I said, I hope you're doing all right. All right, Rick Stumbo. Okay, Gunter 45. The best barbecue sauce is Open Pit Original. Makes all other sauces taste like molasses. Well, that's one way to put it, I think. And Honeyed Badger uses an 80s Craftsman 2 and 10 amp manual charger. The important thing is it has to be a manual charger. Those automatic chargers will turn off, and they simply do not work with an e-tank, unfortunately. Late Red Mountain. Okay, now going back here in the comments, Late Red Mountain is like already Century, in my opinion. Yeah, that was when just before they went to the transition to Dysa manufacturing, automated manufacturing in the 1960s. Okay, you'd asked a little bit about Century versus Red Mountain. I don't think there's really too much of a difference. And if anything, Century is probably a little bit thicker and a little bit heavier because, in fact, it's a little bit rougher too. So yeah, what I mean there is just that you figure that they were making their cast iron pans largely by hand during the Red Mountain days, and so that's one reason why they were smoother. They were still thick, especially compared to, say, Griswold, but on the other hand, when they went to Dye's automated manufacturing in the 1960s, then of course everything was automated, and that was that resulted, of course, in pans with a somewhat less smooth surface, and they had to be manually ground down. I would think that those are probably thicker and heavier than the earlier Red Mountains, in fact. But either way, Century versus Red Mountain, I've done that before. We've seen. You remember when I managed to acquire last year a number 14 BSR Red Mountain skillet, although it was a later Red Mountain, and there really was very little difference between that and Old Stumpy. In fact, that's one reason why I ended up giving away the Red Mountain and keeping Stumpy, because I really had an affinity for Stumpy, and he actually stuck by. And here he is now, in fact, about to bring the chicken out of the oven. So, um, okay. So really, Red Mountain versus Century. I think the big difference, and this is one thing that a lot of collectors take into consideration more than anything else, is the vintage value more than anything. Because yes, all BSRs are vintage now. The Red Mountain series was, well, more vintage, going back all the way to the early 20th century versus the later 20th century for the Century series. So I guess that's one reason why a lot of people, if they're really picky about collecting BSR, they tend to go more for the earlier Red Mountain if they can find it. And like, for instance, I was really psyched, as you know, to discover that Red Mountain deep fryer. I was shocked, in fact, as opposed to, say, the Lodge or BSR Century deep fryer, which is also a great tool. And believe me, I'm not getting rid of either of them because they are both great for cooking. Okay, where did I just put my mouse? There it is. All right, so I'm sorry there's not much of an answer really in regards to Red Mountain versus Century, Kenneth, but I like them both. I use them both. There's, I guess, some sentimental and historical value to the Red Mountain series. Maybe it's a somewhat more rare in some instances, especially because they are older. All right. And Jacob Almond, I was in a Waffle House a while back. I noticed whatever cast iron pans they're using look glass smooth, probably from use, but I wanted to ask what they use, but never did. Any ideas on what they might use? Yeah, probably whatever they can find cheap. I don't believe I do not know Waffle House's business practices, but I don't think they have a regular supplier of cast iron pans. And if they did, it would have to be something cheap like modern day Asian made cookware, for instance. On the other hand, I'm betting a lot of them probably have salvaged vintage cast iron pans because, of course, they're easy to find and they're cheap. Cast iron junction, I use a 55-gallon lye tank and two 5-gallon buckets of evapor rust to restore cast iron. And yeah, well, I guess you could say that's just about all you need, too. That will certainly get you just about anything. I do like using the e-tank, though. I think it does a great job. And I do believe we may be at the point where where the barbecue chicken may indeed be ready. So let's take a look. As I did say about the 1 hour mark, and we're already at 5 minutes past that. So let's pull that out now and see what it looks like. Two hands. Got to use two gloves. Sorry, I've made that mistake before. Better use two hands here. Okay, here we go. And oh yeah. Bam. Well, take a look at this, folks. And in fact, I should probably even move the camera down a little bit closer for you. And in fact, let's also hear that sizzle. All right. Go. Thank you for waiting all this time. But again, check that out, folks. I do believe we have ourselves some cast iron barbecue chicken here. Let's get a picture for posterity, shall we? Back if not, I'm going to turn that off now. Oh yeah, this is definitely going to be a photo, no question about that. Thank you for waiting, and in fact, let's do this. And now let's turn the phone on its side for TikTok. And let me do a little bit for TikTok here. Yeah. And check this out, folks. We have barbecue chicken, oven barbecue chicken, that is, made in a number 14 size cast iron skillet. So much better than just using a baking sheet. Really can't do much better than that. There we go. And that will take care of TikTok. But how about that? Is the barbecue sauce sweet? I use like a one of those so-called Memphis style barbecue sauces. So, all right. Okay, which means now it's time to get this out of the pan. And where did my tongs go? Here we are. Because I like your suggestion of reducing the liquid. So, come on. Let's get this out of here. Besides, we're actually, okay, we've got to be careful there. Yeah, unfortunately, it does look like a little bit of sticking, regrettably, but that, of course, is because of all this caramelized sauce, which means I should indeed put the extra liquid in and reduce it exactly as you say. However, any moment or so, we can also do the same thing with the black lock. But there we are for starters. Here we go. Here is our oven barbecue chicken. As they say, it's about as can't miss a recipe as you can get. So I'm actually quite happy with that. Let me see how we're going to manage this. Here it is. Okay. Time to bring out the whisk. And put this in. Boy, this thing's spitting, that's for sure. Oh, yeah, is it ever spitting, in fact? All right. But let's do this as quickly as we can so that we can scrape up the good bits. There we go. So far, so good. I have not yet thrown any flour on this, and I'm debating whether or not I should to make a gravy. There we go. There we go. You should hear this too while we're at it. A little bit here. I don't know if it's necessary to put any flour in this. I think we'll just reduce this as is, because that doesn't look like it's going to take very long. Just want to be sure I get the charred bits up. This will actually make it easier to clean the pan out too. So we're off to, we're not doing too badly here. Whoops, hold on. Gotta get my glove again. Because this is a hot pan. Cast iron gets hot. There's some advice for you folks. Careful, pan is hot. Come on, there we go. I'd say this is not taking very long to reduce either. What do you think? All right, let's see. Maybe a dash of water. Well, water will definitely splatter all over the place. No question about that. Here's a thought. Maybe a little bit more of the barbecue sauce. How about that? There we go. I do believe we've got something going here. Oh yeah, definitely have something going. In fact, I think I'll just simply turn off the heat at this point because I don't want to burn this. I'll probably just put this in a bowl just to be safe. I mean, as much as I could just put it over the chicken, which isn't a bad idea either. Maybe I shouldn't risk it too much. Some folks may not like the overcooked part we've got here. So, quickly grab one more metal bowl. Put this over on the side, over here. And thank you for your patience, folks. Trying to do this as quickly as I can. There we go. Glove goes back on. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very, very thick sauce, like you said. Ugh. A dipping sauce. Whoa, careful. Ugh. All right, that's about as much as I can do, I think. However, we've got one more thing. We have the black lock yet, and then after the black lock, we will have all of our chicken ready. So, not doing too badly. Okay, excuse me one last time. Let's get that other pan. Oh, shut up. Get that other pan out of the oven. Check this out. All right. Whoa, this is hot. Ooh. Can't even hold it in my hands very long. So, ow. Yeah, definitely. Oh, wow. This is hot. Okay, just got to be careful. I don't want this pan to fall, so I'll just balance it as I get this out of the pan and into that bowl of chicken. There we are. So I've got a real cleanup job here, but, well, that's life. Okay. Whew. But there we go. So far, so good. We got ourselves a big bowl of oven barbecue chicken, or as Jamie might like to say, chuckin'. All right. And now, having said that, we get to take another look again at old Stumpy here, as dirty as he is. And let's see what other comments I may have missed just now. Okay, Jacob Allman. Oh, yeah, looks better than back home. Well, what's back home, William Hurt, might I ask? I mean, as you see, all I did was really bake it in the oven, sear it in a cast iron pan, and used barbecue sauce. This is nice and simple. The recipe for this barbecue chicken is on the description of this video, and it's a link to my website. It's, as you can see, this is really easy. I mean, all I really did, as I said, was I just marinated the chicken, seared it, baked it in the oven, coated it with barbecue sauce, and here is the result. Jacob Almond, I had a chromed or nickel Griswold chicken fryer that I got for a steal. Went to a local plating shop and had them strip the plating off. Wow. Oh, no. Hey, yeah, as you say, hey, it works. That's the important thing. As long as you don't try selling it as an original brand new with the original plating, then there's really nothing wrong with that, because I'm sure that is really picturesque. I wouldn't mind seeing pictures of that myself. So, Kenneth, still can't pronounce your name. Kamianaki. I was going to smoke 20 pounds of drumsticks, but maybe only 10, and try this out. I probably used maybe about 4 to 5 pounds of chicken pieces here, because, again, Stumpy is a pretty big pan, and even then, there was more chicken here than even Stumpy could hold. Barbecue chicken is my favorite, says Pat Z. That looks scrumptious, and I'm looking forward to trying it myself. I have no doubt whatsoever that this chicken, well, for starters, is not undercooked. So, Memphis style sauce, more vinegary, sweet barbecue, or honey mustard is not my thing. Definitely there's a vinegar taste to it, no question about that. As Val's Black Cat says, I love a good sauce. The rest of the family likes the garlic sauce I created. Well, nice. Well, the important thing is that they like it. And as you say, it will thicken on its own. Dano Ozark, I think Kansas City style is sweet and vinegary, which again is why I'm saying use your favorite sauce here in this recipe, because this is your chicken. You're going to be eating it. And Stephanie, no, I did it again. Stephane, Eslek. The gravy is money, and on a slice of bread or steamed rice would be absolute gangster. All that is, as you said already, is the reduced extra liquid. So I'm definitely glad we did that. Hey, Pegtooth. Oh, yeah. Je me souviens bien ton nom est Roger. We used to do low on the grill with a lot of basting. Je suis vraiment désolé if I'm pronouncing that right. What kind of basting brush did you use or try? My basting brush, for the record, I found at, where did I find it? I think I found it at Marshall's, if I remember right. So they do have some good stuff at that store, including cheap cast iron. Well, not cheap, but less expensive cast iron. But yeah, still, I won't deny cleaning these pans is going to be a little bit of a chore in itself. And maybe I'll just do a short video of washing these pans out. I can't do them now because they are still very, very hot. But nonetheless, people like to see videos about cleaning cast iron. It'll be a chance to show off my chainmail scrubber. Hello. We have chuckin'. Oh yeah, and boy, do we have chuckin'. Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. Do we need that much chuckin'?
Probably not.
Probably not. No,
It's also very hot. In fact, it'll probably have to cool off for at least another few minutes.
That's why it's chuckin'.
Yes, it is. It's chuckin', as Jamie calls it. Okay. William Hurt. My mom back in the 1950s just had a metal brush, a metal basting brush. I'm sure if I saw a picture of it, I would probably recognize it. But I'm so used to seeing either silicone or more likely just one like a paintbrush. So that would be definitely something to see. Nonetheless, that is what we have here, folks. As I mentioned, good old Stumpy here has done it again. He has, with the help, mind you, of the Lodge Blacklock, because, as I said, this was a lot of chicken. There's no question about that. But this was, again, I love easy recipes, and this really was easy. I mean, as I said already, all you had to do was marinate the chicken in advance, sear it in a hot cast iron pan, bake it in the oven, baste on the barbecue sauce a couple of times, drain out the extra liquid. And the result is you've got a whole bunch of oven barbecued chicken. So this really, I'm gonna have to do my best to give this stuff away, and we will be eating chicken tonight and probably tomorrow and maybe the day after that as well. So Jean Grube, it would be interesting to see you clean the pans after they're cool. Yes, you'll find that well-seasoned cast iron pans clean up with plain water and a bit of scraping. Oh yeah, I'm very much used to that. In fact, I mean, I've been cleaning these cast iron pans off for several years now. So yeah, that's why I guess I should at least show you folks that. In fact, oh my good grief. This is actually going to be the 10-year anniversary that I have had this chainmail scrubber. Can't believe I actually got it back in 2012, but I did. It was a Christmas present. I've been using this thing for 10 years, and this thing still looks pretty darn good, if you ask me. This is something that it's actually a pretty popular brand of chainmail scrubber. They call it the Ringer. So yes, all we really need is this scrubber here, some elbow grease, and I have no doubt at all that old Stumpy and the Blacklock, for that matter, are going to look pretty darn good. In fact, yeah, I am thinking I'll probably do a short video of that maybe tomorrow evening. I'm saying tomorrow evening because, of course, again, as we say before, this is really, it's a work night. So that means, of course, I can't stay up much later, and I know most of you folks can't either. So that's why we always seem to cut out at around this time. And besides, we've accomplished what we've needed. We've got a whole bunch of chicken to work our way through, and most importantly, I've had a lot of fun making this. That's one of the things. I mean, really, if it's not fun, why do it? So that's why I especially enjoy enjoy doing this. And I enjoy doing this live for that reason. You folks here definitely help to make this a lot of fun. And I'm very much, oh, better turn off the oven. There we go. And that's why I'm very, very grateful to all of you folks for showing up here each week. Thank you so much for that. And thank you. And here's the part, I guess, where once again, yeah, I'll be watching a replay. And yes, Peg Tooth. Yeah, I'm hoping you enjoy this. And thank you, everybody who's shown up. Like, oh, good. No more mouse. Okay, let's give this guy a cameo appearance here. Hey, Trouble. Trouble. Hey, Trouble. Hello. Here you go. Oh, that got you. I can see that. Let's do this quickly. There you are. Okay. And there we go. That's, I guess, a nice way to end this as well, to get a look at our pal Trouble. Thank you. Oh, I goofed. Since I got him tweets, here comes Miss Mobley. Okay, so we've had one, now we have the other. Hey, Mobley. Here you are. You will. Yeah, there you go. Spoiled? I have no idea what you're talking about. But yes, thank you. As I said, thank you very much for everybody who shows up here. This is really what makes this all worthwhile. So I can only thank you. Well, thank you for sharing your day with me as well for Val's Black Cats Rules. And Kimberly Miller, Clico, Joe Brown, Pip Gorn, Mike M. Thank you very much. And Peg Tooth, who uses a chainmail glove, and Joe Brown. Yes, it's a lot. As I said, it's all really, I'm just doing this really for the fun of it. I mean, it certainly helps, yes, that Google does pay or YouTube does pay for it. But nonetheless, I'm really just out to have some fun. And you folks being here is really what helps to make it a lot of fun. Thank you very much once again, everybody, for showing up here tonight. And the best I could say is that we are going to do this all over again next week, and we'll see what happens. When I'm hoping we are really close to the point where I'm finally going to be able to close the deal on the new house. And having said that, I guess we will see you all, folks, once again. See you all next Wednesday. Have a good evening, everyone.